There was a theoretical form book going into yesterday's qualifying session, but it was quickly turned on its head. We've got a McLaren and a BMW on the front row of the grid, Ferrari's 4th and 15th, a Toro Rosso and a Honda in the top 10, and former world champion Fernando Alonso out of it. Nelson Piquet was off the pace after damaging his Renault in practice. He's 21st between the two Super Aguris. Former champion Alonso had differential problems. He's down in 11th. Ferrari's Albert Park qualifying gremlins returned. This time it was reigning world champion Kimi Raikkonen, who had a fuel pump problem and didn't make it back to the pit lane. He's 15th on the grid. Meanwhile, Mark Webber had this spectacular spin due to a suspected brake disc failure. Teammate David Coulthard, though, was on form. He's 8th on the grid, while Jenson Button showed Honda's progress with 12th. BMW hadn't looked too sharp in winter testing, but now we realised they'd been sandbagging. Robert Kubica was the fastest in the first part of qualifying and was on for pole position until he had this spectacular moment at turn 12. This allowed McLaren's Lewis Hamilton in. He kept his head. Hamilton will start from pole for the 7th time in his career. And so the grid for the Australian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton on pole. Robert Kubica, that's his best ever, in 2nd. Same story for Heikki Kovalainen in 3rd, who has Felipe Massa alongside him in the Ferrari. Row 3, Nick Heidfeld and Jarno Trulli in the Toyota. Row 4, Nico Rosberg in the Williams and David Coulthard in the Red Bull. Sebastian Vettel in the top 10 again. He has Rubens Barrichello alongside him on row 5. Outside the top 10, Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button is 12th. Nakajima and Webber make up row 7. Reigning world champion Raikkonen had a fuel pump problem. He's 15th. Fisichella alongside him in 16th. Frenchman Sebastien Bourdais and Adrian Sutil make up row 9. Glock and Sato make up row 10. At the back of the grid, Piquet, who qualifies exactly where his dad did for his first Grand Prix, and Anthony Davidson.
It was fantastic beginning to the season, and that's where I wanted to be. You know, last year I think I came here and I was just hoping for the best, and this year was slightly different.
It's a great moment for the team, especially after struggling beginning of the season. In winter testing we had some problems, but the guys in here in Munich has worked very hard, has done a very good job to solve the problems, and thanks to them I'm here.
I need to work a bit more with my team, with my engineers, with my driving, everything to catch Lewis and the others. But honestly, you know, we are going on the level now where we are, and we can't be too unhappy about that.
It was quite stressful qualifying because you know, the yellow flags, the red flags, and things like that. But you know, same for everybody.
We could have run the qualifying with no problems and fixed the problem after the qualifying, but we end up 100 meters short from the pit lane, so we were not allowed to go out anymore, so that was our problem.
So both at the age of just 23, Hamilton and Kubica means the youngest ever front row for a Formula One Grand Prix. And as I said before, pretty dynamic as well. Kubica up over the curbs in turn 12. He was really trying, wasn't he? And do you think this is going to be the story for the season for them?
Well, the car looks great out on track, particularly in Kubica's hands. And without that mistake in turn 12, he would have been on pole position without doubt. So it bodes very well for BMW. The form book was turned completely upside down, wasn't it? We've seen all of the data from the winter testing. We've talked to the engineers, been to the tracks, and nothing turned out quite as we expected.
Well, everyone expected Ferrari to dominate here. Raikkonen did last year, but it wasn't like that. They looked uncomfortable on Friday in practice, and maybe that first lap pace isn't quite there again for them.
Well, the day is yet young for the Grand Prix. The season is only just underway, so we'll have to wait and see. I think the Ferrari does have some pace there, but the drivers are struggling a little bit. And, well, if Massa's not hanging on to the back of Hamilton and Kubica, it'll be quite a shock.
There were some terrific performances down the field as well. Sebastian Vettel, still only 20 years of age, make it into the top 10 in the Toro Rosso. You've got Barrichello in the Honda, Rosberg 7th. Bit of a change of the guard, it feels like.
Yeah, you look at the qualifying press conference with Hamilton, Kubica and Kovalainen there, as you say, Vettel, Rosberg. Obviously the kids are very comfortable driving these cars without the electronic toys and support.
It couldn't be better set up.